Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com.
Welcome in to yet another Thursday night production here at the Bob the Cigar Guy, Traveler's Rest, Big Head, Chief Modoc Studios, welcoming you into yet another Thursday night production of Chief Talk here on the YouTube and Facebook channels, both. Before we get into the show, I want to say a big welcome in Gary Zanch, Charles Adamson, Mackie B, Banker, John, Michael, Zachabek, The Habibi, Supremo Tobacco, Bob Ellis, Fireborn, Jay, The Garage Door, Bates, and Matt Brugger. Welcome into the show. A little light crowd, but I'm sure you guys are going to filter the others who are not here. You guys are already here. We'll filter in as the show continues to go on. I also have not shared this over on Facebook yet, so we'll get that going in just a second. But I do want to, before we get the show started and going completely this evening, I do want to say a big thank you to our show sponsors, Natural Cigar and Drew Estate Cigar, making sure that we have Chief Talk here available for you guys and gals every single week. This is week 20. We are calling this show The Eyes Never Lies. So you pause the music, pop over to this background, put this one here, and bring on my guest, my co-host, Bob the Cigar Guy.
Hello, everybody out there in Radio Land.
Well, there's more video land than anything. The radio land's kind of like your podcast thing on the on Fridays.
That's true.
Welcome in, Bob the Cigar Guy. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. Looking forward to smoking some cigars with Chief and talking to everybody in the chat room.
We got people here. We got 13 people across both platforms at the moment, and everybody's getting their seats warmed up. They're filling up down at the concession stands and making sure the drinks are flowing, the cigars are ready, and lighters are filled with butane. Speaking of cigars and drinks and lighters and butane, Bob Cigar Guy and everybody else out there watching Chief Talk this evening, I want to know, what are you drinking? What are you smoking?
I am pre-gaming the Abo Nicaragua Box Press Big 6x60 Gordo. Big old beast. And I will be finishing up with that very soon and following up with one of them Blue-Eyed Jacks by Adventura. And I'm going to try to cut it with that Cigar Medics The Baller. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to give it a try.
Oh, you're going to go over your... Maybe we should feature our gear each week. That wouldn't be a bad idea.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
So I am lighting up the Herrera Esteli Caja China this evening.
One of your favorites.
One of my absolute favorites. It's my favorite of the Ambassador cigars out of Drew Estate. You have the Caja China. You have the Undercrown 20. Underground 1020, and then you have the Savage Feast Liga Privada 10, and the Caja China happens to be my favorite. Now, for accessories this evening, I'm going with the Lefenlams Le Petit. That's the cigar cutter of the evening and the lighter. This was actually just launched. We did a big online campaign today with Lefenlams. This is the new Le Feu RS. This is the brand new lighter
Looks tactical.
that it kind of, so it does look in this one, in this this colorway, this configuration. I did not angle my lights right for this, for the perfect up close. But this is the new LeFou in OD green.
How's it work?
It's
Is it good?
great. It's a flat flame. One of the things I love the most about this is, so when you look at the head of this, you're like, oh, this cigar kind of, this lighter looks like it's kind of, made ergonomically, whatever. It is built to resemble a band on a cigar.
Oh no, that's all right.
That is why it is shaped like that. It is not an ergonomic grip. It's not meant to be an ergonomic grip. It's meant to look like a cigar band.
Old school band.
So it's a flat flame. Well, now that my face has come back into the viewfinder, it's a flat flame. There, nice little diamond point on it. It's a great lighter. Really enjoy this lighter. But Leffen Lams did a huge launch today. I was part of the launch, so I got to partake in that. But I've been using this lighter a ton. Never thought I'd be a fan of flat flames, but I think flat flame has taken over my favorite flame type.
I bet it is for touch-ups too.
It's just nice because it's like it's the purchase area of a quad, like a 2-stack, but without the BTU
The overage, right? I get it.
Let's see. Jerry Fincher says, "What's up, peoples? What's going on?" Dan Burns, welcome in to the show as well. Dan Burns says, "It looks like Bob's in a lounge." Bob's always in the lounge. Matt Scaife has got some Eagle Rare with an Undercrown Maduro, following up with the Pappy Flying Pig. Ooh, Jeremy Fincher's got that nice Tabernacle Havana seed. Ooh. Matt Berger says, "I'm having an Espinosa 601 Habano with some Traveler whiskey."
Heavy.
Michael Zakovic's got an Undercrown 10 with some Jackie D's. Charles Adamson finishing a Black Label Porcelain. Saka Khan is next. I almost picked up a Saka Khan to smoke for this evening, but decided to... Actually, I kind of waffled what I was going to smoke from like 5 minutes before the show to now. I finished off an H99 right as I was doing a lot of the prep work for the show. I did a lot of prep work for tonight's show. As you can see, there's a little bit of the change in the background here. Instead of having Bob and I up in your grill like this, I thought maybe we'll try this layout a little bit and see how this goes. So this has our, not linked, but our little socials down there. You can find us on Instagram, Chief and Lee's, Bob the Cigar Guy, and also 24/7 presented by Drew Estate Natura Cigar. Fireborn post-dinner Murcielago and black coffee.
All right.
Bob Ellis has got a blackened M81 and water. J-Bait says, "Ooh, Mr. Fancy Pants McGee over here." Scream Tobacco, "That's real nice." J-Bait says, "I like that. I'm going to have to check those out. Need a lighter for my Leffen Lams cutters." Yeah, so these, as I'm not paid to say any of this stuff, I got a lighter for content, not for free. I got to make content out of it. But this LeFou RS, I believe the only way that you can get these lighters is through your retailers that carry the Leffen Lams
Cutters
portfolio in lounge. I know that this, when they launched it at PCA, it was in collaboration with all of the lounges who they do business with. Now, Leffen Lams was partially purchased last year by Oliva Cigar. And so most lounges that are carrying Oliva, the Oliva reps, we just hit 20 people watching. Sorry, squirrel. They were purchased by Oliva, so Oliva reps have the ability to peddle these at the lounges where they peddle Oliva cigars. But if your cigar lounge carries Leffen Lams, have them reach out and ask about
that Focus is fighting you tonight.
I have it. I could do myself a little bit of a favor here and open up the aperture a little bit. There we go. I just have to bump my ISO back up. There we go. So
my camera has no buttons, people. It's just a plug and play. I'm just saying.
So, yeah, if you've got a retailer who sells Leffen Lum stuff, have them reach out and check and see if the LeFou RS, not just the LeFou, because they have 2 versions now, 3 versions. They have 2 versions of their original, and now they have this version. Making Poor Decisions says, "What's up, guys? What's up? Making Poor Decisions. How you doing this evening?" Jay Bates says, "You guys are making me want to go grab a smoke. Go grab a smoke, Jay Bates. Nobody's telling you can't." We did hit 20 so far, and so that means we are 20 out of 20 episodes this year with hitting 20 with hitting 20 concurrent viewers at the same time. I am going to go over to Facebook and share the live stream because I had forgotten to do that to my feed. Come hang out with ya boy.
So that baller just cuts a little melon hole
Let me take Jay's comment off and make use
out of the cigar. So it's just a little. It's kind of cool. It's got basically a ball bearing that's carved into
just a hair,
called into a beak tooth, and it just kind of grabs it and slices it. If you need a bigger, it says if you need a bigger hole, you just kind of turn it sideways and cut it and keep cutting it around. And then what I like about it is the schmutz just drops right out the back. It just falls right out. You can kind of see that beak point right there. They said, do not stick your finger in there because it will take its slap off. And I believe it. So I've been playing with it. I've just been using it. But it's pretty nice. I wonder how it smokes.
That is nice. How your lighter smokes?
How the baller, the cigar smokes.
Oh, the smoking experience from the baller.
The baller. Now, I don't have a Leffen Lums cutter. I guess I'll have to use one of these old Calibre Daytonas with the single jet. It's a regular tube fire. It's not a flat flame.
Fireborn wants to know, how do you partially purchase a company? I guess in the sense, Fireborn, since you want to be difficult, in a sense is like maybe not a full company takeover, but you buy like a stake in it, like
portion.
You can't buy the whole company, but we'll allow you to buy. Like when there's a TV show out there called Shark Tank, if I do remember that being the name of the TV show properly, where they say, hey, for certain percent of stock in our company, you can spend this much money, and we will give you a portion of our company and a portion of the decision factors. So I don't think Leffen Lums sold 100% of their company to Oliva. I could be wrong. I think they sold a portion of their stakes or so. It's for you silly little boys. Now, before we go any farther into the show, let me come over here and grab. We have been doing the stick pick of the week for now 3 weeks running, and this week was.
Wait, you didn't say it right.
Chiefs stick pick of the week.
Much better.
So this week was the hardest week when it came to photo competition, and it wasn't because there was a lack of photos. Quite the opposite. There were so many photos, and there were so many good photos that I had a really hard time choosing which photo I thought deserved the title for this week's stick pick of the week. So I actually enlisted Bob the Cigar Guy to help me out this week a little bit. And I said, hey, I like these 4 or 5 photos. Which one of these 4 or 5 do you like the most? And we settled on the same photo. So over on the Discord, you can submit your photos every single week. So starting right now, tonight, up until before about an hour and a half before the show next week, you can submit your photos over there on the Discord. And in the Now Smoking section, and it just doesn't have to be super special or anything about that. But if you decide to put a little flair, a little effort, a little thought into your smoking photography time, like Mr. Michael Zakovic has done here for this week, you can win Chiefs stick pick of the week. Chiefs Stogie picture.
I wonder if Michael Zakovic actually posed that photo, or he actually dropped his cigar and he goes, "Oh wait, that's a cool picture."
Well,
he just shot it. And
what Bob Ross would say, right?
Happy little clouds.
happy little accidents.
There we go.
You don't have. It's not wrong.
Let's just put a tree right here.
Just a happy little accident.
Happy
So
tree.
maybe it did fall. Now, hopefully, this is not one of those situations with the upside down turned pizza that accidentally landed in some urine or fecal matter or something like that. And so hopefully he doesn't have any pups that frequent either the tall grass or the decorative bushes next to the patio or wherever he was for this photo. Now, I do not know what cigar that is. Michael Zakovic, I know you're here. Let us know what it is, what it was. I did not do a reverse image search on the band. But if you want to be considered for next week's Stick Pick of the Week, post a picture of your cigar on the Discord to be considered for next week's pick. Now, Michael Zakovic does not win anything this week, but at the end of the year, all of the Stick Picks of the weeks are going to be brought up on screen, and we're going to do a tournament-style knockout bracket where we decide who had the best pick of the year, and we're going to have a nice big grand prize for the one person who happens to have had the best Stick Pick of the year for Chief Talk. So, Michael Zakovic, congratulations on winning this week's Stick Pick of the Week. Michael Zakovic says, Fireborn's mission is to be difficult and salty. Looks like my nearest retailer for Leffen Lambs is in Palm Springs. Might need to make a trip. DA Exotics, welcome into the show. How are you doing this week? Sticks in the Grass. I posed it. That's actually Illinois prairie grass. Look at there, a little hometown flavor coming in. I can direct you to someone that carries the Leffen Lambs ladder. Hit me up if interested. The Made Man cigar. Never heard of it.
Me neither.
Hopefully it was good to you because you won this week's Stick Pick of the Week. Now, we do have a theme for tonight's show, but we are not yet ready to get into that. We're going to continue a theme that we have done for the past few weeks now. Bob, the cigar guy, before I say anything to you, welcome in, Cigars Unbanded. How are you doing? What are you smoking? What are you drinking? I want to know. Actually, I'm also going to pour myself something to drink this evening. So, Bob, cigar guy, as I'm getting ready to pour myself something, I have a question for you. Same question that I've had for the past 2 weeks. Bob, cigar guy.
Oh Lord, I didn't pull it up on the phone.
In the last week, there have been a few uploads to the YouTube channel of content from PCA. If you didn't know, we went to PCA just over a month ago now. And we captured a whole bunch of content while we were there. And in the last week, there have been a handful of videos go up. I am going to be drinking this Buffalo Trace here this evening. That is what I'm currently getting into. I'm going to put it in my Cafe Du Monde coffee glass. Yes, little Buffalo Trace to wet the whistle. In the last week, Bob the Cigar Guy, what has been not your favorite video per se, but what has been a moment out of those videos that you look back and say, you know what, that was a really great moment from PCA for me? Bob the Cigar Guy.
All right, I got 3.
Okay, go ahead.
So, first, I know you said not the best video. I love the Stolen Thrones little edits you did at the end, especially with the Big Daddy Don Garlits racing car and the Sunday. I thought that was hilarious, right? That was spot on. I wish it wasn't at the end because I don't know if everybody watches that far and they missed it, like watching a Marvel movie, not staying until.
Well, if you missed it, go back and watch it.
Then anytime with the fellers at Artisanal del Tobacco is always a great time. As soon as I watched that, and I watched it tonight, I had to catch up on it. As soon as I watched it, it just took me back to the hilarity of those fellers and the genuineness of them.
Billy and Gus.
Yeah, they're just amazing. But the content that I really liked, that I really enjoyed just sitting and listening to the person talk while they're being interviewed, was the Rabbit Air. She did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
She really did. She covered a lot of things, and I really think that if you've got a space in your house where you smoke cigars regularly, Rabbit Air is one of those things that is just a great upgrade. And the fact that it is extremely, I mean, the buy-in is not cheap. But the quality is amazing, and the fact that the filters that we have on the one behind Chief is the original filters, and it lasts a year. So you don't go buy the cheaper one at Lowe's or Home Depot, and then you're replacing filters every 30 days, and it just diminishes in value. Now they've got the new double honeycomb filter, which is supposed to last twice as much, pull out twice as much smoke. I'm looking forward to getting that filter set just to see the difference. I really enjoy the Rabbit Air, and I enjoy watching Chief cry sometimes when I blow smoke that way and it goes right over his face. It's kind of fun to see him tear up and get all red-eyed, but that's just me.
So Michael Zakavett said that the Made Man is rolled by Aganorsa. Tracy Spitfire says, when is the next First Lady Saturday? It's this Saturday. It'll actually be produced by Chief.
Yeah, so it will be much better. It'll have a lot.
I don't
better
think I'll be on the
to
stream at all. I think I'm going to produce it from my house and just be there for assistance if need be. It'll be interesting to see my mom try to carry on a show for an hour. It'll be interesting.
She's got content.
Jay Bates says, "Oh boy, he grabbing that liquor. I got the big one this round. This is the
handle." First Lady's got some great content coming up. If I'm not mistaken, it's Women of the Cigar Industry, and it's from an interesting perspective. And the people that she has talked to and gotten information from, and the information she has is very, very interesting. It's enlightening and informative. And the giveaway, as always, is going to be bang up, jam up, and good to go.
Ghost 23's got a Romeo y Julieta Viejo this evening. Nice. Fireborn says we'll sell you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge. I just kind of felt like when we ended the video, I was like, it kind of felt like a Sunday kind of sort of thing. I was going to take the time to edit out the photos over top of the pictures that slide in on all three, but I was like, and nobody's going to appreciate this enough for me to put that much work and effort into it. So I'm just going to leave it for what it was. So if you don't know what we're talking about, go back and watch the Stolen Throne interview that we dropped, we dropped. Bob Scari, I edited, put together, did everything this week. So,
and you put out a lot of videos every stinking day, pretty much every day.
I mean, I'm putting them out. I started out doing them Monday through Saturday, but then the second Saturday I was racing, and then last Saturday, I don't remember what it was that I got busy doing, and I forgot that I needed to do a video, and then said, I'll just wait till Monday. But we only have, to my knowledge, 2 videos left.
Now, are you still going to do a compilation?
Now that is still that is still a very real possibility. So there's for sure only 2. Well, I'm pretty sure there's only 2 interviews left. I don't have my files here with me. They're at my house on a hard drive. I have not gone through yet to see which ones I still have left to do, other than the fact that I know there are at least 2 more to do. Actually, it's funny. Today's Artisanal del Tobacco was the last interview that you shot at PCA.
Right.
So we have an interview that was shot before it, and then there's an interview that we shot after it, but it's of me doing an interview.
And the reason the video was shot where it was shot is because they had basically broken down their booth. I mean, their booth was pretty much empty at that point. They were ready to pack up and go.
I was sad that I didn't have any B-roll of the cigars of the new Jester Connecticut, but by the time we got done with everything, they were packing up their booth and getting ready to leave. So there was nothing really to get B-roll of. They literally were dismantling it as soon as the camera went off.
Which was bad, but good, because there was another media person, magazine media people that were there, and they were giving them samples to take pictures. And they're like, help me pick this case up. And so I picked up the case, and he hand them stuff, and then he hand me stuff. And then he'd pick up another case, and hand them stuff, and he hand me stuff. So we walked away with a lot of Artisanal del Tobacco deliciousness, which did not hurt my feelings at all. So
Cigar Pop says, I'm out due to injury. Have fun tonight. I'll look for the release later. Hey, Cigar Pop, hope you take it easy. Don't do too much. You was making preparations for Mother's Day and smoking the meats. That was what it was. I was out all day Saturday morning, and then by the time I got home to smoke meats, it started raining. I didn't want to take my computer outside to do that. Then my wife went out to dinner with her parents,
and I had the kids and smoking meats. So it was like, I'll just put this off to Monday. Thank you, Jay Bates, for reminding me about that. So yeah, when it comes to the PCA content that was dropped out since last week, all of them are great. Getting to go back and watch them, like I've talked about for the last 2 weeks, is nice. Being able to listen to that information for the first time. Tamina with Rabbit Air is always great. I did think it was good. I felt like Tamina was ready to end the interview at about 45 seconds in, and you roped her back in, which got her to talk more about the dual hive and how much, not CFM, but how long one of those filters could last. And she talked about 150 square foot for a year on that new filter, and that's something I'm looking forward to, because we are sitting at about almost 150 square foot here in the studio. And we're not using this studio every single day. It gets used a few days a week, but to have two people in here running the one smoke eater, I do wish like I didn't put it there. I like that it's there because it's in the shot, it looks nice and all that kind of stuff. I mean, especially when I go to solo, you guys can see that bad boy running right there. But I do. There is a part of me that wishes it was on the other side of me, so that it would take my smoke over and his smoke this way, instead of all the smoke just right past me. I know it's first world problems. But I am excited for the new Dual Hive to see just how much of if it makes any kind of a difference, a smell difference, smoke difference, a changing time difference, or whatnot. But that interview was great. I really enjoyed listening back to the Altadis interview. We got to do 5 brands at the Altadis booth. I would have loved to have broken that up like we did the Davidoff booth with Davidoff, Zeno, Avo, and Camacho, and get multiple videos out of one video. But originally we were supposed to meet with like their social media director, and she was going to take us around the booth, and the goal was to just break it up into 5 videos, or how many ever videos they were, presenting at the show. But she actually had to leave right before we got there. Apparently she had to go and be taken off to the airport. But I thought Gabe did a great job. Gabe is the brand manager for Aging Room and was it Monte Cristo? Not Monte Cristo. Monte Cristo? I don't know. He's the brand ambassador for 2 of the brands. But the fact that he was able to walk through each brand, all 5 of them, is as well, and as loquacious as he was about each of them, it was nice to listen to what the idea was behind. I think that of all of the stuff that I got to see at the show, that Romeo and Julieta humidor is my favorite humidor I got to see at the show.
That was my second humidor. I was about to talk about that. The first humidor was not the gold Fabergé egg humidor for $25 million. But the first one was a solid piece of marble carved out at the Davidoff. At the Davidoff place. And the fact that it's one solid piece, the lid weighs about 20 pounds.
Dude.
But when you open it, it's got assisting hinges. When you close it, it can't slam. And so it's got assisting hinges as well. It's understated, but it is a signature piece. I mean, it's something that, and ain't nobody gonna steal it. That's for sure. It'll sit there, and I gather once it reaches humidity in there, it's not going to let that humidity out. It's going to be a good seal. It actually has a laser etched seal all the way around. It's a 1-piece seal. I mean, they did it up right. That's a very nice humidor. But that Romeo humidor was cool.
Does it have a button on the side of it?
No, that was banging. No, that was banging. It was like furniture. No, that was cool.
No, I thought that was cool how you could literally, if you have an Art Deco style house, like you could make that a part of your living room, right? You could,
and nobody would know.
Right. It was nice how it had, it took some of the engraving from, the Shakespeare play on top. It had the his and her side of the humidor. It had the little tray for, a couple cutters or lighters or matches or, whatever you wanted to put in there. It could hold 150 sticks, which I thought was kind of I think you should have highlighted that a little bit more in the sense of his 150 years, 150 sticks fit in the humidor. It came with 15 sticks of that size for that. There are only 150 of them made. I thought it was pretty cool how they just, went around the 150 name, how it was very well thought out and kind of played out in the sense for the humidor. But like, it didn't make a noise when it lowered down. It didn't
silent.
make like a meh, 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 meh,
No, it was
meh,
whisper
or something
quiet.
like that. It just slowly went
Yeah.
in. I liked their booth a lot too, because the actual space for the 150th Romeo y Julieta presentation, the actual encompassing area around it looked like the humidor, kind of,
Yeah.
sort of. So
Roman
I thought that
arches
was really
everywhere.
nice. And then you had the other 4 brands that went around it. I did think about taking the Vespa part out because he was like, they won't let me test ride it. But I kind of felt like maybe he wanted that to be put in there following him around. So I left it in there. I thought that was good. But a lot of offerings from that interview. A lot of brands covered, 5 brands.
Did you notice on the outside of that enclosure they had around the 150th, it was all that stone?
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, is it like a foam stone or is it an honest to God heavy stone?
There's no way it's real. No way.
Because
That'd be so expensive.
trying to travel that, transport that, and then put it up, or did somebody lay all that stone the night before? They got 2 days to do it.
Nah,
With their
it's gotta
little
be
stone
fake.
people putting that stone in there. I mean, it was
Fireborn
crazy.
says the Altadis vid was awesome. It flowed well as one installment. That's another reason why I left it as one, is because I felt like it really did flow together well. Because when we got done shooting the video, I didn't realize it was 17 minutes. I thought to myself, oh, we had a start and a stop at every single one, so I'll just turn this into 5 videos, or how many ever videos. But as I was watching it back, I was like, oh no, this kind of just flows one into the other, into the other, into the other.
And I was thinking of you.
John Jensen smoking a leaf by Oscar Carrojo. Nice.
I was thinking of you and your editing every time we went, so I didn't every time turn to the camera and go, come on.
Right.
I just did it once, just one time. But I had it in my mind to do it every time, but I said, no, I'm not going to do that.
Glad you did. Fireborn says the Romeo Julieta humidor was beautiful, but I don't want his and hers keys. I just want my keys. Oh, you can get the his and her keys and hide
Keep 'em both.
the other set. Keep them both. Need to try that Oscar Broadleaf. Jim Jurek said he enjoyed the Warped Cloud Hopper before the show. Ooh, nice. I've been hearing a lot more about Warped here recently. Texas Taurus says, just finished a jacket mini Heinke? No idea. Jim says, if the Nuggets win, AJ Dorado Figurado. Ooh, I love the AJ Dorado. That's a good cigar. J8 says, 25 mil for a humidor is just stupid. Some people have more money than brains. Nobody's buying that humidor. It's a tax write-off for them. Chat messes with what I'm trying to say. Nah. It'll get out there. It's the alcohol talking. Speaking of alcohol, drink. Billy and Gus are great. I think if you could find a way to bottle up Billy and Gus's energy, you could sell a lot of it. Those guys were, every time I walked past them at the trade show, they were hustling and bustling. For the most part, it's a 2-man team, and they were one of the companies that we've done all 3 years with now at PCA. Their booth was a lot like their booth last year at PCA. But they were moving around. Got a nice couple little seats, couple little couches. Our boy Supreme Tobacco shot all their content for them at PCA this year. So if you've been seeing any of their PCA content over on their Instagram, Supreme Tobacco is the man to say hey. For now, before we go any farther, I do want to say thank you to Matt Berger, Tracy Sylvia, Mac Bergson, Michael Zakovic, Charles Adamson, and Jay Bates for hitting the like button over on Facebook. And if you guys and gals have anything that you'd like to say that you really enjoyed from the last week's offerings of shows, please feel free to let us know which of the shows you happen to enjoy the most. I'm the one who sits here and makes all these videos, and I'm having a hard time remembering all the videos that I put out this week. So, okay, so since last week, I put out West Tampa, cigar. I put out Stolen Throne, Rabbit Air, Altadis, and Artisano del Tobacco today. Stolen Throne was awesome. Getting to meet those guys for the first time was neat. Photos de Puros, he shoots their content as well. So if you see any of their PCA content or any of their content, say hello to Photos de Puros and say he's doing a great job as well. That was fun. That was a much shorter interview than I had remembered it being.
Me too.
I didn't realize that it was only 2 cigars talked about, and I didn't even get B-roll on one of the cigars. I don't remember seeing it out there. I know he was wearing the purple shirt, but I only remember seeing the Preakness cigar that they're rolling out. But Lee was he was a fun guy. It's kind of silly, or not silly. It's kind of hilarious that I was able to use Ricky Bobby a second time this PCA. So next year we're gonna have to try to find some sort of metric to I don't know, maybe we do some more hands. It all depends. It's organic.
It just happens,
right?
Yeah.
Because
that started because we started talking before the video, and he was an interesting fellow to talk with. We never talked to him before, and he just all of a sudden said, "I don't know what to do with my hands." And it was the day before when we did Zeno Law. I did that, and so it was in the front of my head, and he just seemed like a hilarious guy. He seemed like he was going to key in on anything I was punching in, because some people, you kind of got to stay on kind of a script. You got to give them a lot of guardrails, and some people you can just kind of riff with them and they just take off and run with it. And he just seemed like one of them fellers. We were like-minded, and so when I just kind of slid up my hands, he just knew exactly how to get it and get into it, and so that was hilarious.
Fireborn has a really good question. So it says, Chief, in the PCA vids, why do some folks not have the handheld microphone? The lapel mics are less distracting, in my honest opinion. Fireborn, I agree with you. I think that not having the microphone waving around for the entire shot is nice. Some people just prefer to have the handheld.
Stephen,
I'm wearing the lapel mic for the show right now. We use the lapel mics every week for the show. Bob has his routed through a microphone right in front of his face. Usually mine sits right here in front of me on the computer, but I have a shirt pocket tonight, so I just got it stuck in my shirt pocket. But it fits in this little handheld right here. It slides right in, and then we put this little microphone spit protector on top of it. And honestly, when I walk up to somebody at PCA, this is what I do. This is literally how I do it. Hey, my name's Chief. I'm with Bob Cigar Guy. We're here for our media appointment. We talked over email. Are you guys good, or do you guys need some time, or whatever it be? And then that person usually responds back something like, "Oh no, we're good. Let's go ahead and do this." Sometimes the companies say hello to me before I can even get any of that information out. Right? Like I was talking about earlier, this year, or we just released Artisano del Tobacco today. This is the 3rd year in a row that we've had Artisano del Tobacco on our PCA coverage. Same thing for Aventura. Same thing for Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust. And same thing for Aganorsa Leaf. Then some companies are 2 years in a row, or some companies are, we got you the first year, we didn't get you last year, we're going to get you this year. Black Label Trading Company, a company just like that. And then sometimes we have companies that are completely brand new to us: Guri, Natura Cigars, AJ Fernandez, Altadis, right? And so I say, where would you? The first question is, hey, where do you want to do this? Do you want to walk around the show, walk around your floor, or do you want to set up in a central location or sit down somewhere so that we can take the time to do the interview? It's really up to you. And they usually defer back to me and say, hey, you guys have us, and we'll do wherever you want to go. Or they'll say, hey, we've been doing our media stuff over here. Or, hey, I'd love for you to follow me around the booth. Or, hey, we don't have a big enough booth to walk around, so why don't we just stand here right in front of the booth, like JRE with Aladino. And so once we settle on a location, I say, hey, I have microphones, and I usually am holding this microphone in my hand, and I'm holding the microphone holder in my other hand. Now, some of these companies have been doing this long enough, they realize what it looks like. Sometimes I'll actually start off with the microphone in the handheld like this, and I say something to the effect of, hey, would you rather hold the mic, or would you like me to take the mic out and put it on you? Sometimes they say, oh, no, let's hold the mic. That's no problem. Sometimes they say, oh, I'd actually rather wear the mic instead of holding it. And then sometimes I just look at the person and say, hey, can I put the mic on you? Steve Saka is that way.
Right.
Whenever we go to Aventura, usually we have Marcel and Henderson. This year we also got Nicole on. So if it's going to be with multiple people, I hand them the microphone because I don't want them to have to worry about fumbling around, taking the microphone off of their chest or wherever it be and putting it. When it comes to Drew Newman, always our first real interview, I say, hey, Drew, can I go ahead and hook you up? Because he knows our third year in a row, I hook him up with a microphone. He usually has a nice tie on, button-down shirt. So I just say, hey, is it okay if I grab it here right behind your tie and put this on you? And he says, yeah, go ahead. No problem. Do what you need to do. So sometimes it just comes down to preference of the person. Sometimes it comes down to my discretion. A lot of times, if it's a lady, I will say, hey, here's the microphone. I don't even give them the chance because I don't want them to think that I've done anything wrong or inappropriate. I don't want them to think that I'm trying to do anything wrong or inappropriate or get some weird thought that I was just trying to get, fresh with them or something like that. So I usually just say, hey, here's the microphone. Now, if the lady were to say, hey, can I actually wear this instead of hold this? We would come up with a situation for them to hold it. Usually they're wearing their badges, and we can hook onto the badge. When it comes to hooking onto the badge, I have learned that I do not like to hook on to the lanyard part, right? Because what it does is it drops it down like that, and then the whole badge gets really wonky on them, and they're fighting their badge the whole time. So I'll usually just grab the middle of the badge just like that and let it sit on the badge for their PCA badge. Because you're supposed to technically be wearing your badge everywhere you go at PCA. Not everybody does. Bob Cigar doesn't.
Not at all. It's on my bag. And I got to tell you, good question. I have learned in watching these last two videos that I need to adjust some stuff for next year's PCA. This year was the first time. This is the first time I ever bought a Bob the Cigar Guy shirt that wasn't a baseball jersey kind of shirt. It was a shtick for the Aganorsa thing because they were polos and khakis, so that was my polo, and I wore khaki shorts. But I couldn't put it on my shirt because it kept rubbing on the inside of the shirt, and so I had to clip it on the side of my hat. And so there's this big old blue blinking box on the side of my freaking head. And every time we took the videos, at least these two, it was on the wrong side. If it was on the other side, it probably wouldn't look that bad. But it doesn't. Yeah, it's not professional looking at all.
Well, it's funny because you had the microphone on your hat, I believe, for the Altadis interview, and every time you guys stopped talking and were moving, your mic started picking up on people around you talking. So there's a couple times in the Altadis video where there's a lady, I don't know if she works for Altadis or if she was a purveyor trying to buy stuff, but you can hear her talk a couple times. I don't know exactly what she says, but because your mic was up there, away from you're down in your chest and you're not talking, it was picking up noises from around you, which I thought was kind of funny. Bob Ellis says, I like the West Tampa one just because I love their sticks. Ricky Rodriguez is great. We did not interview West Tampa last year. Our time, they did not have a time slot available for us because we did not do all 3 days of the show last year. But they stayed at the same hotel that we did last year, so you and Ricky Rodriguez actually got to talk a little bit
for hours
out of show. Matt Berger says Stolen Throne is having an event by me this summer. Ooh, nice. Fireborn says, so don't give them the option. I mean, no, not going to do that. Thank you. Hey, Fireborn, you are more than welcome to start up your own media company, go to PCA, and run your PCA coverage the way that you want to run it. Until then, I'm going to continue to give people the option. Now, Steve Saka doesn't get an option. I tell Steve Saka, hey, I'm going to clip this onto you. Drew Newman doesn't get an option. Hey, I'm going to clip this onto you. Aventura doesn't get an option. Hey, here's the microphone because there's 3 of you here. You guys pass the microphone back and forth. Chi-Town, welcome into the show. How are you doing this evening? Making Poor Decisions says, finally finished driving, drinking Jack, smoking a natural Mustang, and hanging out at Gold Leaf Cigar Lounge.
Living the
Ooh.
dream.
Jim Jurasek says, next year they'll be coming to you. That's a possibility.
We
I
had
did-
some of that.
I did think there was a thought, like, how cool would it be if Bob the Cigar Guy Media could just have a booth where we have an interview booth the whole entire time, and we just make our schedule to people at the show, then they come to us. But that would never work because they don't want to not be at their booth unless
Selling
they're
their
at the
stuff,
bathroom
right.
or going somewhere. So that would never work. It would be fun. It would be cool, but it would never work. Everybody knows who Bob is. You don't need no stinking badges. I wear the badge just because I don't want to have to worry about putting it somewhere else. Right? I don't want to put it. I don't wear a bag at the show. I do carry around my travel case, and I don't want to have to be. I'm in and out of my travel case in between each shot, so I don't. That's something more that I would have to move around or possibly lose. It's $150 to reprint your badge. I don't need that. Bob the Cigar Guy, and honestly, I don't know if anybody ever does get yelled at for not having their badge on at the show. I could be wrong. You definitely have to have it if you go in and out of the show.
Yeah, I got caught at the door a couple times and I had to show my bag. So.
You gotta have your badge to get in and out of the door for sure. But once you're on the trade show floor, I don't know how much of a real stickler they are about it. Jim says that the Dorado is looking fantastic. Nice. That's a good cigar. It's a really good cigar. It's one of my favorites from AJ. All right. Now, without further ado, why is tonight's show called Eyes Never Lies? That's because we're going to do a fun little thing. And this may go super easy. This may take forever. And hopefully it doesn't go wrong and everything works well. But we're going to play a game called Whose Eyes Are Those? Bob the Cigar Guy, you're going to be the person that I'm asking. But obviously, all of you who are in the chat this evening have the wonderful ability to play along with us. Bob, don't read the comments for any kind of hints or helps if you don't really need the hints or helps. But Bob the Cigar Guy, whose eyes are those?
Do I know them?
Okay, and let me preface all of this by saying these are people in the cigar industry to some amount. Do you know them? Maybe. Have you seen them? Probably.
Is it Steve Saka?
The eyes
Boom!
are Steve
Boom,
Saka!
Woo!
Now
I got lucky there, boy.
I did want to go with kind of an easy start to go with.
Easy.
But I did think there is a possibility, like you could have guessed yourself there.
There's too much happiness in those eyes.
Chi-Town, he said Bob's eyes. Jim also was thinking possibly Bob.
That's funny.
So I wanted to go with some that were a little easier, but maybe a little not as easy. Because I thought there was a possibility maybe you could confuse yourself there.
Are these all PCA people?
No.
Oh, this is going to be difficult.
All right. Are you ready for the next?
We both have that line in the middle of that worry brow, that furrowed brow between our eyebrows. So
Yeah.
I could see that.
Charles Adamson also said it looked like Bob. Bob Ellis said it. I thought so too. I thought that there was a really good chance that maybe we could get Bob there out of that. But it would have been embarrassing if you would have guessed yourself and it had not been yourself.
Yeah, that would have been kind
All right.
of narcissistic.
Dos. Whose eyes are those?
It's not Nick Perdomo.
Not Nick Perdomo. I don't even know what Nick Perdomo looked like.
Do we have his cigar in our humidor?
Ooh, you're insinuating this is a man.
Yeah, I would hope.
Uh-oh.
All right, that's a handsome woman. I'll tell you what. I would.
So there may be some of these cigars in here because I'm not entirely sure of what is over there. Jim Jurasek says, so Bob creates the Saka cigars. Bob Ellis says, Abe?
No, it's not Abe.
Making Poor Decisions says, some old guy. Mascase says, Carlito? Ooh. Jim says, Tatawahe. Pete?
No.
Who are those eyes?
Is it Fuente?
It is not Carlito Fuente Jr.
Have I ever met this person and had a conversation with him?
Oh, probably not.
Really? And so you give me somebody like that?
I figured you would actually get this one faster than Saka. I thought Saka was going to stump you, and this one was going to be easy.
I have no clue. And I should know because he's got that very signature thing on his, right eye. Over his right eye. But I do not know.
It's Rocky Patel!
That's why I don't know. And we have a Rocky Patel cigar in our humidor.
Rocky Patel. Oh, Gary Zanstra came in and got it. Bob Cigar Guy. Whose eyes are those?
Sylvester Stallone.
I'm sure he would be very flattered. This is also a man.
Yeah, okay. Is this person's cigar is this a manufacturer of cigars?
Yes.
Do we have these cigars in the humidor?
I don't think so.
You really made this hard, didn't you?
You have met this person in real life.
And had a conversation with him?
You have interviewed this person in real life.
Thanks, dude. Thanks a lot. Did I interview him this year?
No.
All right, so now I'm trying to figure out who I interviewed last year. I didn't interview this year. Is it one of the fellows from My Fathers?
No.
Steve Saka.
Nope. I actually thought this was pretty easy.
Yeah, because you're on that side of it. It's not that
Not
hard.
Danny DeVito.
No, I could see Danny DeVito.
It is not
too.
Rafael Nadal or Eric Espinoza.
And I interviewed this guy at PCA.
I didn't say that. It is not anybody from Davidoff.
It's not anybody from Drew Estate.
No,
No, that's
Are
not.
you sure?
That's not Willie Herrera. That's not Jonathan Drew. That's not Gary Fielder. That's not Joe Groh. That's not Fabian Ziegler. That's not Isola Woods. That's not Pedro Gomez. That's not. Well, you said he was a manufacturer of cigars, so it's not Jonathan Drew. And I haven't interviewed many people other than people at Barn Smokers and people at PCA. Where did I interview this individual at?
Mascay says, this is a cool game. Thanks. I
Matt?
wish I would have done more now. It took me a long time to get everything ready, so I only have 5. Jim, it is not anybody from Diesel.
Where did I interview this guy at?
You interviewed this person at a Barn Smoker.
I interviewed him at a Barn Smoker?
Yes.
It's not Chris Duque.
It is not Jack Torano. This guy's way too tan to be Jack Torano.
It's not Espinoza.
It is not Eric Espinoza.
It's not Protocol. Juan Cancel.
No, not Juan Cancel. It is not J.C. Newman.
It's not. What's his name?
I always feel like somebody's watching me.
Bruh. I'm interviewed him at a PC. I'm gonna be surprised and go, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Barn Smoker, not PCA.
At Barn Smoker. It's not Frankie Dranks.
Deep dive, deep dive, deep dive.
Jeez.
It is not Rafael Nadal.
Is it
It is not Michael Jackson.
oh my gosh. Is it Mark Ryan?
It is not Mark Ryan. No, that would have been.
It would have been Sad Hat, but yeah. And you kind of see little Mark Ryan in that.
Oh,
in that
my
face.
mom. She texted you and said, "It's Mark Ryan, isn't it?" That's what your little text notification was it?
I don't know. I didn't look at it. She's trying to help. Thank you,
It
First
is
Lady.
not Glenn.
I love you, First Lady. Your son is trying to beat me to death. Who is it? Oh my gosh. Crown heads. Oh my gosh. Oh, sitting there with Willie Herrera passing the mic. That was the mic passing moment. Yeah, I remember sitting in a freaking in gravel in Kentucky in front of a backdrop in between the barns. I remember that video.
Yep.
And yeah, I haven't thought of John Huber
not
forever.
Los Calaveras.
Yeah, no, it was Los Calaveras.
No, it wasn't.
It was a La Coalition.
Yeah, La Coalition, which was a collaboration between
Drew Estate.
Well, Jonathan
Heads.
Drew, Willie Herrera, and John Huber.
And I interviewed Willie and John at the same time. And I just kind of sat there and listened to them talk.
You did.
They did a great job. We had to delete that video too. So
But that's a hard one, buddy.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying. I hadn't thought about that in forever.
Well, McFall would have been a little easier giveaway. There,
Thanks for
buddy.
bringing back that memory. That's a good memory. I forgot about that memory.
All right, Bob the Cigar Guy.
What am I?
Whose eyes are those?
It's Tom Zybrate.
That is not Tom.
It's not Laureen. Oh, that's Tim Swanson.
That is Tim Swanson.
That's Tim Swanson.
And fifth and final,
Jonathan Drew.
oh darn! I thought that was gonna be the hardest one.
The glasses, and yes, it doesn't look like him now, but the squint in the glasses, the lack of furrowed brow because everything goes.
I thought that was gonna be a little harder.
So I got 3 out of 5.
I thought it was gonna be a little harder, but there are no photos of Jonathan Drew without glasses on,
Right.
and I figured at least one from either the late 90s or early 2000s, maybe would have thrown it. But I did not expect John Huber to throw you nearly as much as it did.
Yeah, it did.
And then
Yeah,
Rocky Patel. But no, that was a lot of fun.
So because you spent so much time on this, I'd suggest you never ever do it again. That was
Oh no, the hard part's done. The hard part's over with.
yeah. So what I'm saying is don't play this game another time. This will be the last time we ever play this. game.
No. What I'm saying is the hard part's done. Now it's easy to do these. Now it's easy to make these. I could make 10 more right now if I wanted to.
No, don't do that.
But I also thought, how pretty is Steve Saka in this photo? It's just such a model.
It's that grimace thing going on.
Another thing is like with these is when it came to the eyes, I tried to straighten them up as much as possible. So Steve Saka's at an angle now, and I straightened up the Rocky Patel is a little canted, got in there. John Huber was a massive zoom in.
I could have guessed forever and not got Rocky Patel or John Huber.
Tim Swanson, I thought was probably the easiest one.
Yeah.
But you did not get that one on first draw.
No.
But you did get JD on first draw. So that was a lot. I thought that was going to be fun. I told you about this earlier in the week that I wanted to do this. I had this idea.
I forgot. I thought Laureen was going to be on there. Jack Hiram was going to be on there.
I only did 5 because I was running out of time, right? Because tonight,
thank God,
all of the graphics that I had to make for tonight are this new background that we have, right? That you currently have on the screen. I also had to make this one, which wasn't difficult because I already have the template for Stick Pick of the Week already made. I just have to change out the photo and then the name each week. And then I had to make all of the the slides here, which when it comes to this, I had to do the background. I had to cut out.
So you were listening to that YouTube video on how to do it with the thing. I was like, what is he making squares for with colors?
And then I didn't even figure it out. I didn't even figure out the technical aspect that I needed. I just found the fact that I could use a square eraser, so I just used the eraser. So, because there's 3 layers of this photo. There's the text layer, there's the background layer, and then there's a layer behind. So if you erase the background, you can stick any photo you want back there and size it to whatever you want.
Oh.
And then when I made this one, I just erased half of the side, got an overlay for the text, and then put the photo there.
Cool.
So,
will you grab me a coffee out of the fridge, please? I didn't grab one before the show started.
While I do that.
Got 3 out of 5. That's a win.
That's 60%.
That's a win.
That's 60%.
That's a win.
That is the absolute floor on passing.
I made more than I lost.
The absolute floor.
Yeah, no, I squeaked by.
If 60% of the things that you made out of your shop worked, would you call yourself a successful worker?
I got more than I missed. I'm not going to let him take that from me.
should've-
I'm not going to let him take the win from me. Chat room. Did I win? Did I win?
Do I need to go make another one real
Did I
fast?
win? Did I win?
Matt's case says, for what it's worth, I like the background. He's digging it. He's digging it, baby. Jim says it's a total win. Bob Ellis says 6% isn't passing in my class. Uh-oh. The next time, because I like this. I want to do that again. That was really fun.
Oh, I want to do that again. That's really fun. You
know,
know, don't think that I won't photocopy pictures and go down to Kinko's and print out faces and maybe do the chins of PCA and have you tell me who those people are. No, I won't do that. That's too much work.
No, the hard one would be to do take pictures of cigars here in the studio and then remove the band through editing and say, what cigar is
Don't
this?
do that. They all look the same. They all look the same.
Bob Ellis says he'd give you extra credit just to pass his class.
My man.
No, we'll have to do that again. We'll have to bring that back and do that again. I don't other streamers or video people have done that online. That's name this athlete, and they do their hairline. Whose hair is that?
Speaking of other streamers, you were just on a podcast, a couple nights ago.
I was.
How about that cigar?
I was. I did the podcast live show. How about that cigar on Monday night? That was a lot of fun. I had it in my calendar as next Monday, so I had completely whiffed on preparing to be on the show this past Monday. I was actually had it in my calendar for next Monday for whatever reason, and when they asked me to come on their show about a month ago, they were I told them, yeah, it would be great, no problem. I told my wife, I was like, hey, this date, I'm actually gonna go over to the studio so I can be on this live stream, and I was gonna do it here at the studio. And then when I got the little email notification early in the morning on Monday, it said, hey, we'd love to have you on the show tonight. Looking forward to it. Here's the link, for your login, and here's the link for you to share your show or whatever. And I was like, oh, crap. That's tonight. So
and you killed it. The only thing that, and I figured it out. I was like, when they asked you a question, what 3 people would you take with you on the zombie apocalypse if you were surviving? And you picked me and Terrence Riley and Tim Swanson.
Yep.
Good people. I was surprised you didn't pick Law Ream, but I figured it out. I think that you think that if the zombies were taking us over, you could outrun me for sure. So I'm the first one going down. You probably could outrun Tim Swanson, and I think you could trip Terrence Riley easier than you could trip Law Ream. Law Ream seems springy. So,
I did not go into it. One, I was kind of taken aback by the question. I don't know if that's a question that they normally do.
They do every time.
I had actually pitched that as an idea to Tim Swanson to do on the show when we were first in talks about having him on the show. And he didn't really want to go with that because he had just some reasons for not wanting to do that. And so we punted and we ended up landing on the show that we had, which was a great show. But when I thought about the idea, because I didn't know that they did that idea. When I thought about the idea to do with Tim Swanson and he shot it down, he said he didn't want to do it. I did not sit there and say, okay, who would I want to take as my team of 5? Because I was going to do a team of 5. And then it was going to be, not only your team of 5, but what type of weapons, what kind of environment, whatever. Who has the expertise? A real thought out, well planned out kind of sort of thing, not a hit you out of left field. Hey, here's this idea. So that's your baller. You want me to show it on the? So Bob the Cigar Guy used the baller on his cigar, and he's got to get my. So it's like a fancier punch. You go.
Interesting. The first one drew.
So I was kind of taken aback a little bit with the question in the sense of, being caught out of left field. But I'm happy with him. I didn't want to stumble over my answers for a long time. I didn't want to sit there and say, let me think about this, and you tell me. But I felt I put together a pretty good team. 3's a hard number, right?
Right.
3 with 5, you can start getting into
different jobs.
Really breaking it down. Somebody for this and somebody for that. When it's 3 plus yourself, you've really got to have, everybody's got to kind of really work together. And I thought taking you was kind of like a cheat code because, one, you're in the industry, you technically count. So, it's like I've lived with you my whole entire life. When it comes to Tim Swanson or Terrence Riley, I've got a relationship with them over the past couple of years. But
so we got 2 votes against them no matter what.
Internet, if you had to do a majority votes kind of sort of thing, we could vote on the same ballot the whole time.
And it's funny. I picked you first on my team too. I did.
Did you?
I did. I picked you first on my team. Even though I knew you could outrun me.
Who was on your team?
Law. You. I forget who my third one was.
It wasn't John Hoover.
No, it was not John Hoover. It was not Rocky Patel either. It might have been Steve Saka.
Bob
just
Ellis
because
says,
we could have lots of cigars and he could tell lots of stories. But I can't remember who my third one was.
Bob Ellis says Mac would have all the power tools. That's a lot to lug around. Fireborn says that the next time I should do like some macro shots of cigar bands. That wouldn't be bad.
Yes, it would. No, do not do that.
Matt Berger says he'd take the guys from Warfighter Cigars. I'd love for you guys to chime in. Who all would you take? You don't have to give an explanation as to why, but who would you take? We've got
in the cigar industry
over 20 people here, and we'll take it from cigar industry from all the way down to reps, through media to cigar owners, right? To brand owners, brand managers. Who would you take? Now, if I had to choose a different 3, if I had to go through another 3, now I am kind of lucky. I have been able to see a lot of these people in person before. I would not have known, unless it was for PCA, that Tim Ostener, who works hand in hand with John Hoover at Crowned Heads, is like 4'11". On photos, he looks like a big old stocky dude and whatnot, but in real life, that's a really small man. Same thing with Michael Herklotz, very small man. So maybe I take one of those guys just for the sense of getting in and out of places and really quietly. They're not going to eat a lot of food. Yeah, you could take Ronnie. I think Ronnie's kind of a loose cannon, though. I think you might run into some. I'm just going to go do this kind of sort of situation.
But zombies wouldn't chase him because zombies chase brains. So Willie Herrera would be a good choice.
Yeah.
He's a big guy.
Matt Berger says Matt Booth to keep things interesting. He's a Marine.
Matt Booth would be good.
He's a Marine. So not a bad idea. If you wanted somebody who was big, you'd go his name just left my head. Fratello. The owner of Fratello. Omar DeFrias. That's a big dude. That's a really big dude. He's like 6'7", 6'8". That's a big dude. Who else? Law Ream's good. I didn't choose Law. You chose Law. Law's a great option, just because Law has combat experience. He was in the military. He's also very in shape and very strong. You've also got to think about the time when you're not running,
you want to hang out and
right?
smoke cigar, right?
And he's got a lot of life experience. He's got a lot of stories. He's just a really fun person to be around. Law's a great candidate for that as well. Sokka wouldn't be a bad option in the sense of
You have to stand your ground with Sokka. He's not running from nothing.
No.
He's just going to plant his feet and go and let whatever happen.
Bob Ellis says Will McFall.
Will be a good choice. KD Abram.
He's too nice.
He's swole, though.
He's too nice. I think he would feel bad killing zombies.
Ryan Gallimore's a big guy.
He's a big dude. I wasn't going like shop owners, so to say. So Habibi really wouldn't make my list either. And that's just because I don't know, a ton of shop owners, so to say. I know a handful. Of course, obviously my local guys.
Ocho Cinco. Sylvester Stallone.
No, I don't think I'm taking Ocho.
You ain't gonna outrun him.
No, but I think Ocho would also get me into a lot of trouble. Ocho, he's loud. He's not quiet.
He burned a lot of calories too. I bet he got to eat a lot.
He eats McDonald's every day.
So,
Juan Cancel, former Popo.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mike Tyson. I'm not taking Mike Tyson either. He's too old.
He might bite you anyway.
Right. Yeah, you have to worry about zombies biting you and Mike Tyson biting you. Who else?
And I don't think the zombies would even respect his voice.
I'm trying to think of people that we interviewed at PCA this year who would be good candidates out of the people that we. Okay, so we'll do that. Out of the people that we interviewed at PCA this year, or PCA ever, who would you put on your zombie apocalypse team? I'm going to give you 4 choices. Any of you who have watched any of our PCA coverage the last 3 years, you also get to participate because you know who we've interviewed for the past 3 years. And if you don't, go back and watch those videos, give us the views, and come back next week. And you can repeat names. So obviously we've interviewed Law this year, so you could go with Law if you wanted to. We've done Sokka 3 years now, so you could get Sokka.
Nick Melilla would be a good choice.
Do you think?
He's got a lot of wisdom, and he's a worker.
I don't know.
He's a hard worker.
I think
he's got a good energy to him.
I don't disagree with that. Don't hear me say that I don't. But when it comes to like needing somebody physically present, like for physical activities, I don't know if Nick Melilla was at the top of my list.
What about your friend from BAMF Cigars?
Oh yeah, P-Roll. P-Roll wouldn't be a bad idea.
Or the guy that we interviewed at Romacraft.
Oh yeah, Mike. Shishak.
What about Supremo Tobacco?
Hey, love my boy Brian.
Y'all be too loud together. Flashing lights and say, it's a party. It's a party.
It was
and
a party.
Flashing lights all over the dang place at 2:00 in the morning while we're trying to sleep.
Sean Carley with Caldwell. Not a bad idea.
That's a good
one. If we are talking long term, definitely going to need a farmer. Bob Ellis with Guy Fieri could cook up the zombies. I don't know if I'm going to be eating any zombies.
The butt jerky like they had on Fallout. Jerky don't make it.
Okay, so out of the companies that we have interviewed with, Eric Bay wouldn't be bad. He's first responder, he's a firefighter from Black Star Line. Not a bad idea. He seemed in shape and fit and robust. So I'm taking Eric Bay, super quiet dude.
James Brown's quiet.
James Brown is quiet, but James Brown seems like he would just try to assimilate with the zombies and walk with them, kind of like the Whisperers.
Possibly.
Fireborn says he's taking looks over function. Nicole is a very nice lady.
She's too kind.
Yeah, I think there's a liability there. Henderson from Adventura. Henderson Ventura.
He seems scrappy.
Yeah.
Pedro's kind of scrappy too.
Pedro?
He's scrappy.
I think I'd take Henderson Ventura because I think Henderson Ventura, you've got that aspect of agriculture and horticulture, there that you can lean on with Henderson Ventura. So I've got Eric Bay, Henderson Ventura, and I'm going strictly people we've interviewed. So no media, no Bob the Cigar Guy, no anybody else in that retrospect. People that we've interviewed. Also, Henderson Ventura would help in the bilingual aspect as well. Living in North America, there's a chance that we have to navigate our way down into Central America. He would very well be able to help us with translation when it comes to that, if need be, if necessary. Supreme says, I'm good with navigating. Yeah, let me take a sip out of my little Cafe Du Monde cup.
There's 3 of them. It's not his fault.
4 of them.
I'm still going to stick with Law Ream.
Law's not a bad pull.
Law was in teams. He was in small units. He wasn't in the same units I was in, but he was in small units, and so we would G and haul pretty quick.
Law's not a bad pull. I think I'm going Law too, also for just real familiarity there, because I'm friends with Law.
Jack Hart would be a good mix too.
I think Jack might get us killed. I think Jack we'd be telling too many jokes.
That's possible. No, we've never interviewed Skip, but Skip is swole from Roma.
Yeah. He's also a Navy vet and super intelligent.
But we've never interviewed him.
Oh, you're right. So I've got Henderson Ventura. I've got Eric Bay. I've got Law Ream.
That's your 3.
I said 4. We'll go 4.
Okay.
Because I got to think. Eric is a firefighter, first responder. So he's going to have plenty of expertise in structural integrity. He's going to have expertise in
extraction.
He's going to have expertise in medic care and trauma, wound care, stuff like that. Eric, he knocks off at least the one big box when it comes to first aid and survival.
You got your doc.
Yeah, my doc. I got my medic there.
You got your doc.
Henderson Ventura, he is he's got the bilingual ability. He has the agricultural, horticultural backdrop as well. He's also in shape and fit, just like Eric is as well. Law Ream, fit, in shape, tactical prowess, military background, tactical acumen and precision. So really what it comes down to is I need somebody who probably is really good at wayfinding. And the only person that really comes to mind when it comes to like wayfinding or geographical knowledge is Nick Melillo.
See, I was thinking Michael Herklotz when you started defining it like that. He just seems like he knows the world.
Rob Cash, welcome into the show. How you doing this evening?
But Nick Melillo would fit that bill. Well.
Chi-Town says Eric also has a samurai sword at his house. I don't think Borshowitz is former military. He is a farmer, but I'm also just taking people we've interviewed at PCA. Supreme Tobacco says he's taking Law, Boofy, Bob, Chief, and Mike Fay. Heck yeah.
That's a winning team right there.
That's a bunch of thick boys. It's not about the bilingual zombies. It's about getting to an area where maybe we need Hispanics. If North America gets, wiped and we have to make our way into Central America and South America, we're going to need to know a lot of Spanish.
Yeah, all I'm going to say is agua, baño, and burrito,
Everywhere is
and that's it,
Everywhere is Banyo in
right?
the
So that's
post-apocalyptic
as
world.
far as I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, Michonne. Michonne has her. She had 2 swords. So yeah, I think when it comes to wayfinding, I'm going to go with Nicholas Melillo because the man travels. I mean, he's intercontinental. I mean, he's all over the place. And I feel like he knows a great amount of American landscape when it comes to
Soil and agriculture.
when it comes to
geology.
that's what I'm going with. I'm going Nick Melillo as
I bet he can make a fire
as my wayfinder. Oh, I'm also, you got to make sure that I'm in here too. Like, I got the muscle, I got the handsomeness, I got the fire making. I'm a fire making machine. But I think, Nicholas Melillo as my wayfinder.
That's a competition we need to do. We need to do it outside one night, and we'll have fire making class, or we will have a competition to see who can make a fire and build a fire to burn a string over, kind of like Tim Swanson and Steve Socket did. We won't use matches. We'll have to actually make the fire.
That's what they do on Survivor.
Yeah, but we'll keep our clothes on.
When they have a tied vote, and you can't deadlock the vote. You got to burn the string.
But I need like a month to.
You know how fast you'd lose.
I need a month to practice. No flint, no nothing. We're gonna have to, cast away that thing.
Let's see. Fireborn says Terrence Riley, Michael Herklotz, Juan Cancel, and Tim Swanson. Not bad. Charles Adamson says Henderson Ventura can wayfind. He puts pirate maps on his Ventura swag. So my wayfinder's Nick Melillo. My tactical overseer is Law Ream. My
smart with a medic.
My agriculture and bilingual necessary linguistics manager Henderson Ventura, and Eric Bay with first responder, also structural integrity manager.
Not smart. That's a solid group.
If we don't find somewhere to live, we're gonna have to make somewhere to live, unless we just truly do it Walking Dead style, where nobody really stays put for too long, and you're having to move from camp to camp to camp.
Can zombies climb trees?
I mean, it depends on the zombie universe you're in.
I've never watched a single Walking Dead episode.
I stopped watching years ago when they blew Rick up on the bridge. I said that was it for me. That was enough. I know that he didn't die and he's back, but I lost all interest at that point. Matt could drive a tank, but then you got to have the part. You got to find the parts to repair a tank. You got to have the fuel to put into a tank. A tank is loud. He'd want to
call back and see his kids.
He's out celebrating Paul's birthday tonight,
right? Where he should.
Also, speaking of birthdays tonight, he did not make it on. He's not made it onto the show. At least that I have seen. Today is Sammy Flo's birthday.
Oh, is it? Happy
birthday, Senor Sammy Flo.
Now you've got something to celebrate, not this Saturday, but next Saturday.
Yeah.
Next Saturday, you're going to be flipping them phone poles, throwing them big stones over your head.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's one of the main reasons why I train in the gym is to get big and strong.
I thought it was for
Robert
Instagram
Cash, who
photos.
perpetually sits on his couch, is trying to make fun of me for my running video. Where was your 5K that you ran, sir? But I go to the gym to build muscle, get big, get freakishly strong as much as I can. Naturally, no enhancements. But yeah, next week is the culmination of that. It's what I train year round for, is to throw in the Highland Games. So I'm looking forward to throwing next weekend.
And you throw with the big boys this year.
I do. I'm throwing with the biggest.
They said, nope. You've got enough swords, enough plaques, enough this, enough ribbons. We're going to move you up
last
to
year
the
was my first
superstar
year.
level.
Last year was my first year throwing in 7 years. And so I joined the Bees just because it had been so long. and I didn't think I'd be able to hack it with the A's. If I would have thrown with the A's last year, when I did the math, I would have come in 5th place. So wouldn't have medaled, but I did get 2nd place in the B's last year. And literally, when they came up to us right before they announced who had gotten where, they looked at 1st place, 2nd place, and 3rd place, and they said, "Congratulations, you are now going. You'll never be able to throw B's again. You're going to A's." So
Have a good time. Hey, have you stretched? Are you stretching? Because stretching is important, especially with
I
the
do.
weight over bar
I do
and
stretch.
and the hammer.
I do stretch daily. I've always been a big stretcher.
You got to loosen up your shoulders for sure.
But practicing. I have not gone out and like practiced with the implements a lot. I just don't have a lot of space for that. Also, I got 3 kids and a wife, and when I'm not doing stuff with them, I'm usually doing stuff over here. So I don't have the time to get out. I'm not making it a profession. I'm not trying to throw pros and make money doing all this kind of stuff.
Now,
So,
under the kilt, are you going to wear shorts,
I mean,
undershorts, or nothing at all?
no, I will be wearing my my traditional like compression shorts. So basically underwear, but not underwear.
You wear the ones you had when you were at college?
No. Robert Cash says, many years ago, playing real football, 5Ks were practice. Yeah, I used to run cross country when I was in middle school and high school. So we're not talking about years ago.
You get hit
Robert
in
Cash.
real football. You don't run around tiptoeing with a ball and just crying that you only got
It is
1
like
point.
promotion. There's not really a relegation in a sense. There's definitely a promotion. If you do well enough in the B's, you have to go to A's. 7 years prior, when I had thrown the B's, I also placed 2nd place. That's when Dad was talking about I got a sword. I had gotten the sword, and I told myself, well, when I throw next time, I'm gonna throw in the A's, and then I just never got back around to throwing again. I got out of it, had kids, and all that
Life
good
be
stuff.
lifing.
That was 6 years because Jackson was there. His first year of life, he got to see. I mean, he wouldn't remember it, but he was there, and then I didn't throw any after that.
You gonna buy all the kids' kilts?
No, that's expensive. Fireborn says, Chief, do you caber toss in a kilt with your family tartan? So my my throwing kilt is not my actual family tartan. That is actually my mom's family tartan that I throw in. But that was because they don't have my family tartan, or they didn't have my family tartan when I bought that kilt. I have 3 kilts. I have 2 that are called sport kilts. They are kilts that are elastic and Velcro, and they're made just to wear a kilt while throwing the games. They're nice. They're high-end stuff. But I do have my own family tartan in the kilt that I got married in.
It's like a 6-yard kilt or something like that. 12-yard kilt.
9.
And you almost didn't get it because, come to find out, the real kilts that they really, really make over there, they shut down all their factories for like 3 months, and you needed for you. And I think it was one of the last ones they put out for you to be able to get it for your wedding. Am I correct in that?
No, I think it was they shut down for the season because of the shearing and all that stuff. And I had just ordered right as they were shutting down. And it was the situation where they're like, you're lucky you ordered now, because if you would have ordered within the next so long, we wouldn't have been able to have gotten you this kilt by the deadline that you need it by.
Right.
So I bought that. It was a $600 and some odd dollar kilt. But I bought it for my wedding because I got married in a kilt. I did the whole dress up,
Tails and stuff.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. I rented that part, but I bought my actual kilt. But the kilt that I throw in is not my family tartan. It's my mom's family's family tartan.
I bet it's too big for you now.
No. When I bought it, it was kind of tight, and it's still not loose. It's a little better now than it used to be, but I have not lost that much weight where it's like, oh, I'm gonna throw some pins in this. Now this year, on my family kilt, I will actually have my family crest and sword pinned on it for the first time. Usually, I don't buy a lot of the stuff online because you never know where you're going to get it from. So one of the good things about the Highland Games that comes to our town there's a ton of vendors out there. So you can buy kilts, you can buy shirts, you can buy pens, you can buy dirks, you can buy socks, you can buy whole get-ups. And so last year, after the games ended, my wife and I got to walk around, and we found a pin. It's about this tall, about 3 inches or so tall, with the family crest, the family name, and a sword through it. So I'll be able to pin that on my kilt this year. Looking forward to that. But yeah, I do the caber toss in. I do it all in a kilt. That was the second year I ever threw.
That's a borrowed kilt, isn't it?
Nope, that is my current kilt that I throw in. Yep. No, that's not the kilt I throw in. That is the first kilt I ever bought. That's my wedding kilt. That's my wedding kilt.
All looking handsome and stuff.
I guess I could probably. I don't know if those files are on my computer or not still. If they are, I'm looking for them. If they're, I'll pull it up so you guys don't have to worry about looking at the reflection of Bob's phone. I thought I had them on here. Maybe not. No, I don't think I have them on here. Oh, wait. Oh, no, not on here. I've got some that are of some Scottish stuff, but not me and my kilt. So, but yeah, that's next week. Next week, speaking of next week, we are supposed to possibly have in studio 2 guests with us. I will not reveal who they are yet, but we are possibly going to have 2 guests in show or in studio for the show next week. I will reach back out to one of them in between now and probably the end of the weekend and say, hey, are you guys still dropping by? And if so, I told him I would make barbecue. I don't know if I want to do that anymore because I've made barbecue 2 times in the last 2 weeks. And I've made massive amounts of barbecue. And so it's been like 14-hour smokes. So I don't know, maybe we'll just buy pizza again. But no, yeah, we are supposed to possibly have 2 guests in studio next week. And if they are here, I might do some barbecue. I'll make it important. I'll come up, there's barbecue. I'm gonna have to wait for a couple of weeks to make that much barbecue again, and then we'll do another. Hey, make sure you stop in Greenville when I get this barbecue on. I do love making barbecue. I do not love sitting up with it for as long as I did. I did not get to start my Mother's Day barbecue as
You
early
sleep during your barbecue.
Not this time. Now,
You got
for
all
Mother's
that
Day.
technical thermometers.
Oh, Lord. Okay, come on.
What happened there, Chief?
Well, I don't know how it slipped out.
New lips.
I don't know how it slipped out. I really don't. For Mother's Day, I did sleep a little bit. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that happened. I burnt some of my beard.
Is that your second $8.99 for a night?
Yeah. Well, they're right here, so I had finished my Cajachino.
I get it. I can't believe you finished it. That guy. Thing about the pigs is you think it would be a 30-minute smoke as short as it is. That thing lasts for stinking ever.
What is that?
All the pigs. Pigs burn forever. They just do.
That's why I love the pig Vitola.
Yeah, they last forever. And the Faro, I love the Faro because it just smokes so much longer. But it's an investment in time, that is for sure. I was sure you weren't going to be able to finish that cigar.
Nah.
Now, Chief talks about all these videos that he has done, and he's done a great job. But I don't want you to think that I haven't done anything in all this time. Chief's been doing all this. Not only do I keep putting out the regular content that we have every week, I have already got eight videos in queue, already shot, edited, and ready to go from Cigars from PCA, because I have about 50 samples that I'm gonna just try to drop them back to back to back to back on top of all our content. So if there's been a video that you really liked the content on PCA, it's not going to be as pretty as Chief's work, but it will be a deep dive into individual blends, and we'll be talking about the blends more. We'll be talking about the flavors, and that's one of the great things that when you get to watch a review, that you can say, that sounds like something I like to buy a couple of. Maybe I'll stay away from it, or I'm going to go box deep with a friend or myself. So I'm going to do my best to put out all that content as well, plus all the other stuff we put out. So I'm gonna be busy.
Are there any cigars that you're absolutely looking forward to?
That Plasencia Alma de Cielo, that thing's amazing. I did the El Pupo Fry. That was fantastic. Let me pull this down a little bit so I can see what I've done. The aging room, I did the aging room. That was really, really good. The Paustani San Andreas was really good. And dealing with the new Foundation Wise Man, I was pleasantly pleased.
That's not new though. That was last
well,
year.
Yeah, but I didn't remember it much. The Axum Claro, I did that. And the Cohiba Series M, those are the ones that I've already gotten in the books. Matt Booth's cigar, his 15-year anniversary. Those are all the ones that we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've done 8 already. So every day when I get off of work, pretty much I choke down some food and I come out here and I shoot a video and edit it. And then on my days off, like today, I catch up on my week's content, and we just keep grinding. So I'm trying to stay ahead of it as much as possible.
Nice.
So busy.
Nice. Is there anything that you've smoked in the last week that you're like, ooh, surprise? Because I have not had, because the weather's been so bad for the past few days, I have not had the chance to smoke a lot of new to me cigars. The opportunities that I have had to smoke, I've smoked cigars that I've known or I've smoked in the past. I just happened to get some. Like I went and bought a few Fuentes over the weekend, and I smoked a couple of they had the short sun grown and then the longer double sun grown. I smoked both of those. Great cigars. Had them before, so they can't make it on my list. I do need to remember to take. I've been leaving these cigars here from PCA because I keep thinking, oh, I'll just go over to the studio and I'll smoke those cigars. And then I get over here to the studio and I've got stuff to do. Right. And I've got no time to pay attention to that cigar, right. Not give it the attention that it needs. And so I've just, I still have some cigars at the house, but there are cigars here at the studio that I'm like, man, I really want to smoke those cigars. So I think I'm going to pack these up with me tonight and take them home. Oh, look at that, Sammy Shea. Welcome into the show.
Off camera,
Mac Bergson as well.
I tried a couple of the Guri cigars.
Yeah.
Impressed with the blends. They're a very young company. They're putting out tons of blends in a real short period of time from 5 different manufacturers, 5 different factories in Nicaragua. I was pleasantly surprised at the complexity of the blends, to the point to where I think I'm going to reach out to them and talk to them about maybe doing a series with them, because I think that's going to be a hidden gem. If the rest of them, I've got 4 or 5 more to smoke through. If the rest of them smoke like those do, I think I'm going to take and reach out to them and say, hey, people don't know about your cigars, and they ought to. Let's do something together. So I was impressed.
Nice. All right. So as we end out the show here, I'm going to give you the full screen, drop some wisdom or truth or whatever you want to do, and you do.
Well, I'll just tell you awesomely, love yourself, live a good life, live out your dreams, don't wait till tomorrow. You're worth loving, and you've got love to give to others. And thank you for being part of the family. Thank you for watching all of our videos and all that good stuff. I'm really glad that you're part of our lives. You make a difference for us. And so back to you, Chief.
Well, with that, we'll go MODOK Chief again. Oh, I got to change my background. Whoops. Come over here. Come over here. Over here, go there. Aha! Modoc Chief, Bigger Chief. Thank you all for hanging out with us again this week. We are right here at 10 p.m. on a little before. But fantastic show. Thank you all for hanging out with us. The Whose Eyes Is That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. Bob the Cigar Guy didn't enjoy it, but I think he enjoyed it. Next time we do it, I'll have to try to stump him a little bit more. It was fun to see him squirm with John Hooper as much as he did. But we'll continue to do that in the future. Hopefully, it just adds a little bit more to the fun in the stream. I like that you guys and all guys tonight, for the most part, we're having fun playing along with the show as well, trying to guess whose eyes were on the screen. So we will be back next week. Like I said earlier, there is a chance that we will have some people here in studio with us. So that could be a whole lot of fun. I know that if they do come in studio, Bob Cigar has a challenge for us. So there'll be a lot of content out of that on the show. But without further ado, smoke something good in the next week. Also, come over here and put it back up. Michael Zakovic hit the best cigar photo, in my opinion, as the chief of the week over on the Discord. The stick pick of the week. So post a picture of your cigar on Discord to be considered for next week's pick. So if you're not on the Discord, just look up Chief Talk Cigar Club on Discord. If you can't find it, message me. I'll get you a link to the show, to the Discord. We hang out over there throughout the week. We talk about cigars. We talk about Gary Brooks just introduced a new channel over there called Cigar Rants, where we talk about some things that kind of bother us in the community and whether they should bother us or whether or not. I actually did a little panel over the weekend that was, when it comes to complaining about cigars, do you have a threshold of when do you start complaining as in price point? So does a $5 cigar warrant your opinion? Does a $10 cigar warrant your public defamation? So we have a lot of fun over there, and then we get to smoke over there. And if we start getting a lot of traction over there, we might just start doing some little herfs and whatnot, hanging out and smoking and just having a good time throughout the week. So thank you to our show sponsors, Drew Estate Cigar and Natura Cigar, for making sure that we have Chief Talk every single week. And this Saturday is going to be the First Lady giveaway, where she gives away all of Bob the Cigar Guy's stuff, and partially mine. I don't know what she has in store to give away this go round, but I know that when we had the Drew Estate event a couple weeks ago, she was talking with Will McFall about maybe having some stuff. So maybe there's some Drew Estate swag to go around this go round. I don't know what it is. She's going to do it. I'm going to produce the stream for her, but I am in no way affiliated with what's being given away. So I have no idea what. If I'm going to cry, I'm going to find out for the first time when you guys find out on Saturday. So that is 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Saturday here on the Bob the Cigar YouTube channel, and it'll be a stream that works because I'll be producing it. I'm going to knock on wood now because I have produced streams that didn't work in the past. Love you all. Thank you all for hanging out with us. And as always, be good, smoke good, and we love you.
Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com.
Time to relax. Whew. Man, I'm beat. Whew. What are you doing? What are you doing here?
Show's over. Go home. Go home. Show's over. What are you waiting for? You waiting for another show? This is a one-ticket entry. Go. Bye. Go. Go. Go.